What is going on, guys? This is Richard Gaming with my review of Noragami episode 6, and this episode, it was definitely interesting. It was rather surprising to see our main characters here struggling so much, and the episode starts off with Yukine, and he's very depressed, but Hiyori does try to cheer him up with some cookies and some hot cocoa, but when he actually, opens the door and sees it, he sees a phantom, and of course that right there, kind of reminds him of that little girl, and we all know what happened to her, so he quickly runs off, which of course leaves a mess, because we see that what Hiyori left for him, it is now destroyed. So he actually goes to the mall, and he's thinking to himself, and he's trying to figure out, why he's so scared or acting this way. And we see that this little phantom is coming close to him, and actually made the borderline to chase it off. So clearly Yukine is not in the right mindset right now. But he actually comes across that shop that him and Hiyori was in the other day, and we see that he looking at these boards. And of course he thinking to himself, about what had happened between them. And he even started kicking the glass because he's actually mad at Yato for using him against his will. And we see that somebody actually works in the store. They come out and look, but of course they don't see Yukine, so they're confused about what's going on. But we turn out that Yukine actually does something pretty bad as he steals a board, and we see that right there causes pain to Yato. And now that Yukine has this board, he's now out in the streets riding it. And we see that Hiyori left and went to look for him. She was actually at the mall because we saw her go to the arcade, but she was just way too late. But while Yukine was out there, skating around, Yato actually found him and he stopped him. And we see, while they were talking, Yukine had lied saying that Hiyori had bought this for him. And when Hiyori finally got there, she caught up. And Yato asked if she had bought that. She actually lied as well. So I'm pretty sure that, Yato knew the truth, because if they share one mind and body, then I'm pretty sure that he knows what Yukine did. Because why else would he have that, stinging sensation if that really was really a gift for him? But we see that, while Yato was talking about this Twilight Zone, about, when the sun is setting and we have that red color in the sky, we see that somebody was saying the exact same thing as him. And we find out who it is. It's this mysterious woman that we saw in the last episode, and her name is Bishamon. I think that's how you say it. And she's actually a war god, and she is actually the most powerful war god as well. And she actually wants revenge on Yato. And whilst attacking him with that whip, she actually breaks the board. And Yato also gets, Yukine to change. But for some reason, he never wanted Hiyori, to say anything. So now that this god is now chasing after Yato, Hiyori actually remembers what Yato said about if something ever happened to him, he should go to Kofuku. So he does that. And now we have this game of cat and mouse between Bishamon and Yato. And so we actually learned throughout the episode that this regalia that Yato had killed, it actually wasn't his own, but it was one of Bishamon regalias. And she has a lot. I mean, she has a ton. I definitely knew about the gun and the whip, and of course, that lion. But I had no idea that her earring and even her clothes, they're all regalia. She just have so many. And we even saw this one that we did not see earlier till close to the end of the episode. So there's really no telling how many she has altogether. But so far, she definitely has a ton of them. And so Yato was mainly hiding, but at some point he actually did try to stand his ground. But it's obvious that he can't really fight. With Yukine feeling this way, it is definitely kind of bringing Yato down. He's clearly not at his full potential. So of course he really can't defend himself as he normally would. So Yato has no choice, because even though they definitely could have a pretty good fight, he had to continue to run. But finally, Hiyori actually goes to Kofuku, and she actually wants his help in tracking down Yato. And eventually, they do agree to help her, but nobody knows where he is. And we learn that while Hiyori is in her half phantom form, we see that she kind of picks up on the smells of the different gods, and each one, even though they all smell kind of similar, they have something about them that make them smell a little bit differently to her. So finally, she kind of locks on to Yato's scent, and you see her blushing, but luckily she can't pinpoint him. So now they're on the way to track him down. But we see that when when Yato and Yukine they had taken rest in this forest, because I'm guessing they thought they were safe. Yukine is still kind of struggling with his thoughts because he thinks that he could still be replaced so easily because of Nora. And so, I thought all this time Nora was possibly, Yato's old regalia. But, it's possible that, she could have been around multiple gods. And by the time Yato killed her, if this is true, she was Bishamon regalia. And something happened right there. It made him kill her. We still don't know why. Because when, Yukine asked him why he did that, he just said that he wanted to. So I'm still not sure, what's the real reason behind that. But Bishamon does track down Yato, and she has this new regalia weapon that we haven't seen before. It's like the broadsword, and it actually looked pretty cool. But we see, while they were fighting, Kofuku finally comes there, and we see that the form of weapon is actually a fan. But the downside of that is that when she uses it, it causes this thing called a vent to open up, which allows all of these, phantoms to gush out into the world from the underworld. So clearly, she is definitely, earned her name of the god of disasters. She clearly should not be fighting at all, because she actually makes these situations so much worse. But Bishamon actually took advantage of the situation by having her lion regalia to come out of nowhere and just bite down on Yato's shoulder, which greatly hurt him, of course. But then we see Nora. She was actually watching, and even though right now we don't know much about her, she does have some power, as she actually used a very powerful command called restraint, which had frozen that lion froze that lion, where he stood. So Yato was able to get away, and he actually counterattacked him as well, and cut one of his eyes. So that right there was awesome. I'm not sure though if nobody else picked up on what Nora did, but we see now Bishamon, she is really upset. But her earring regalia, I believe the name was Kazuma, I think that was the name. He actually told her that right now they should retreat. And even though, Yato was right there, she wanted to kill him, she eventually does cave in when he called her by a certain name. I think it's called Bima. But that name right there somehow brought her back to her senses. So now she's going to let Yato go. And she actually notices that, she already knew that he was definitely injured, not only because of the wounds that she inflicted on him, but because of that blight that was happening on the back of his neck as well. So Bishamon is definitely a very, eye-watching guy, because she actually knew that, even though Yato was trying his hardest to make sure nobody saw it. But after everything, kind of died down, I really wish that they would have showed us, what happened with that vent, because I really want to know how they closed that. Maybe Kofuku had to use her fan again or something, I'm not really sure. But now we go back to Hiyori's house, where she's having dinner with her family, and her mother was talking about this mysterious wind that had knocked down those trees, and that of course was Bishamon. But then we go to Yato, who was actually trying to purify the blight, but it wasn't working. And now he's starting to doubt his bond or relationship with Yukine, saying that it might not work. But then we have Nora appearing out of nowhere saying that Yato can use her. So now I'm getting kind of worried here if Yato will abandon Yukine for Nora. But I highly doubt that, because I'm pretty sure Yukine is going to be around for a very long time, because after all, he is definitely an awesome regalia. And even though right now he's in a funk, I do feel like he'll be out of it pretty soon. But this episode, I definitely liked it a lot. Like I said, I was very surprised to see our main character here struggling so much. But this right here is leading up to some major character development. I do hope that Yukine does get out of this funk pretty soon. But as always, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And you guys take it easy, and we'll see you all next time.